Hello, everyone. I'm here for one of my stories, and this is Lindsay. Today, I am honored to be sharing a Zoom screen with Madeleine Sims-Feuer and Dusty Mancinelli, a filmmaking duo who met in 2015 and have been collaborating on multiple shorts and projects such as Slap Happy, Woman in Style, and Chubby. Violation is their first feature-length picture. It premiered at TIFF 2020, showed again at Sundance 2021, where I got to watch it, and is now headed for South by Southwest, and then it will end up at Shudder at the end of March. So very exciting. Madeleine and Dusty, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
For audiences that haven't seen Violation yet, could you give us a brief synopsis of the picture?
In a nutshell, it's about a woman who is on the precipice of divorce. She's her marriage is really falling apart, and she and her husband go to stay with her sister, who she's relatively estranged from. And she's really kind of seeking advice and comfort from her younger sister. And during this cottage getaway, she's quite brutally betrayed by her brother-in-law and then her sister, and decides that the only recourse for her is revenge.
Yeah, I would just add that it's all told from this one woman's perspective. So we're really trying to situate the audience with her unique point of view and get them to really understand her emotional, psychological unraveling as the film unfolds.
Let's talk about your partnership. You guys choose to work together over and over again, which means you see each other as an asset. Tell me what you each bring to the table and how do you complement each other?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I think the first thing that we noticed when we started working together is, and we started working together just kind of as an experiment. We didn't know if it was going to become a permanent creative partnership like it has, but we just wanted to see what it was like and what it yielded. And the first thing that we both noticed is that we enjoyed the whole process much more of making a film. I think before we both found the making of a film quite stressful, and we were making it as a means to an end to have this finished product and this finished piece of art. Whereas when we work together, there's fun and enjoyment and kind of creativity that feels very vital and exciting all the way through.
Yeah, and I think what makes our collaboration unique is just our own individual perspectives. And part of what it means to be in a collaboration like this is finding a unified front. It's really important for us to always reach a place where we're both really happy and excited and passionate about. And that requires both of us to open our own minds to the other person's perspective. And I think as a man and a woman, there's just a fusion of two very specific gendered perspectives that we're not used to seeing together. That, you know, our work is coming from the point of view of a man and a woman, and that forces each of us to challenge one another. And I think that strengthens the overall work that we do. I know that if I made a film on my own, it would not be nearly as rich as what we're doing together, simply because of that added perspective.
The atmosphere in this film is out of this world, from the masterful use of lighting to the disturbing shots of animals. And there's just a sense of dread throughout, even when nothing really bad is happening on screen. My viewers know how important music is to me, and the soundtrack by Andrea Boccadoro is one of my favorite things about the film. What direction did you guys give him in doing this? I know you've each worked with him before. So how did you work with him to create the score to collaborate that way on the film?
Yeah, great.
Andrea is such a sensitive musician who is so focused on the tone and the storytelling of his work, which I think is quite unusual.
And he's a real, like, it's so we're so lucky to be collaborating with him. This is our third collaboration. He did the music on Woman in Stall and in Chubby, and
we'll continue to collaborate.
And we'll continue. I mean, what I love about Andrea is it's always about the story and how do I elevate the story. It's not about adding more music. Sometimes, a lot of the times, it's about removing music, and it's about thinking about what the overall treatment and how we are going to approach music within the film. So the first earlier conversations with Andrea were all about the realization that music was going to be used as a way to elevate the naturalism that we were striving for with the visual aesthetic and the performances. So there's this heightened quality that's emotionally charged, but to use the music in these pivotal transitional moments in the film where we're transporting the audience backward and forward in time. Because it's a nonlinear film, the music really helps us transport. And it was really about trying to figure out what is the best way to do that. And for us, we were really drawn to, I think, classical compositions, but at the same time, there was this avant-garde technique and quality that we were really interested in experimenting with. And it was just masterful how Andrea was able to kind of blend those two styles.
This kind of Baroque operatic choral style with the avant-garde music. And there is one moment actually that's worth talking about too. There's one scene, and it is the assault scene in the film. There is music in that scene, and it's the only scene where there is music, where it's not a transition. And Andrea created this so kind of beautiful, ethereal, haunting piece for voice, which I think just sort of perfectly captures a mood and a tone of detachment. And it doesn't lean into the emotion too much, which I think he's a very restrained composer, which we really love.
Miriam is a woman pushed to the brink who feels she has no choice but to exact revenge on someone who betrays her. Without condoning murder, it's easy to say that most people will be able to sympathize with her predicament. But why does Miriam decide she needs to do away with Dylan in such a deliberate, methodical, and surgical way? Obviously, there's some parallels going on with the methodical way Dylan treats wildlife after he catches animals. But beyond that, what is the reason that she goes to the lengths that she does?
Yeah, I think it was important for us to really think about what it would really look like to enact a revenge like this. And this is a very personal film for the both of us. We both have experienced trauma and abuse in our past, and it's very tantalizing to fantasize about what a revenge might look like. And
honestly, the story, the kind of beginnings of the story came from our own conversations about the seductiveness of revenge and our own fantasies about what revenge might feel like.
And if you're going to go through with a revenge flack like this, something that's horrific and violent, you do need to be methodical. There's something that it becomes like a project that you're planning with steps, and you need to methodically think through, like a checklist, what are all the steps. And it's the only way in which she can actually bring herself to go through with it. Though we see the internal struggle, we see the moments of doubt, moments where she can't really bring herself to do the things that she's said she would do to herself, and really hopefully show how, even though she's methodical, it's taking a tremendous toll emotionally, psychologically, and it's really eroding her own morality. So there's this destructive quality to it. And we're just, within the revenge space, we're so used to seeing wish fulfillment and this glorification of revenge. We celebrate it, we cheer it on, and there's this really like bloodlust at the end when we see this moment. And instead, we were just more interested in scaring audiences into not wanting to seek revenge, because you can see the consequence and the toll it takes on Miriam.
When you've gone through trauma in your past, it can make you feel better. It's very cathartic to think about revenge even in a methodical way. It's almost calming to think about how could I make myself feel better? What is the easiest way I can make myself feel better? And revenge is a very easy way to kind of overcome these feelings of helplessness, and of not having any agency in your life or in your situation, of not being believed, of being gaslit, all of these things where you feel like you're completely powerless and helpless. And what we really wanted to show is that while it is easy to get swept up in those thoughts, and there's almost an OCD quality to it, of a compulsive way of thinking to make yourself feel better, we know that it's not the answer. And I think if we could show a film where we don't glorify the revenge, and it's horrific and brutal and awful and disgusting, then, like Dusty said, it's a way to show that revenge is just as traumatic, if not more, than the betrayal itself.
Let's talk about the sisters and that relationship. I've heard you guys say that at the heart, this movie is about sisters. I have a sister, and to be honest, when I saw the way Greta treated Miriam after she tries to tell her what happened, I was truly pissed off. And the betrayal of her seemed almost far worse than anything Dylan had done. Yet Greta seems to get off scot-free. And me not knowing what was going to happen through this movie, I came in completely fresh. I half expected Greta to get some comeuppance at the end. Why does Miriam seem more easily able to excuse her sister than Dylan for what's happened?
It's so hard to answer that question without spoilers.
I know, that's what I was trying to think of too.
But she does punish her sister.
She gives her a taste of.
She gives her a taste. It's
revenge.
Of revenge. I think what's really important to note is just that at the heart of their dilemma as sisters is this idea that Miriam feels like her savior. She's her white knight. She knows what's best for her. She's always been there to protect her, not realizing that in her crusade for her righteous crusade to protect her sister, she's actually been alienating her and upsetting her throughout the years. And that's actually a lot of tension in their past that keeps surfacing within the film. And so she feels as if she's trying to protect her sister, that this person in her life is a threat. Mm-hmm. This person is dangerous. She will never understand how dangerous he really is, and that what she's doing is to save her sister. I think that's really important. That's like Miriam's kind of driving force until the moment right at the very end of the film where she kind of recognizes that she's just made a huge
destroyed
mistake.
Her sister's
yeah,
life.
She thinks she was doing this to save her sister, but she's really destroyed her sister's life.
I think as well, there's something easier in believing that her sister is in danger, and believing that her sister is in the thrall of this man, than to actually face what her sister really is doing, and that her sister has made these choices, these mm-hmm. awful choices, and these, like you said, her betrayal is maybe worse than his.
And it's really interesting because I think we've noticed that a lot of men actually fail to empathize with the sister relationship and fail to see exactly what you just said, and as a result they're missing out on the real betrayal and the shock and what does it really mean, someone that you really love and are so close to and you've grown up your whole life with them, to really when they've turned their back on you in this really desperate pivotal moment in your life. So it's just really quite revealing, I think, to us that what we've learned mm-hmm. Through making the film, how it kind of reveals individual biases within audiences as well.
What do you wish you would have known about making, as you transitioned from making a short to a feature-length film? What were some of the major differences that you wish you would have known before you started the project?
I wish that I would have gone to the gym before, because it was so physically demanding. I think both of us felt that.
Yeah, and investing in really good shoes, because you're really standing for 14 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we worked 7 days a week for 3 months. So it was, yeah, I think I think as a short filmmaker, your first feature is always seen as this really daunting task, and it's shrouded in mystery. And honestly, it's the same as making a short. The real pivotal difference is endurance. And I think because there's a lot of benefits to making a feature in terms of it being kind of easier, in the sense that there's less pressure. When you're making a short, you have 2 days, 3 days. It's like you can't go back and reshoot. And usually what happens when you're making a short is that you find your groove with the crew and the cast, and then you wrap. You're like, oh, that's over. Whereas we really got to spend time with each other. We lived in the mountains. We ate dinner together, we ate breakfast together, and then, you know, we really felt like a unit, a family, and we really got to build a real relationship with each other, and that benefited the making of the film. And you really can't do that on a short. It's really tricky to do.
I remember I had laser eye surgery, and this sounds totally random and disconnected, but I promise you it's not. I had laser eye surgery about 10 years ago, and I had no idea what it was going to be like. I hadn't spoken to anyone who had it before. I didn't know what the process was. And I was so glad that I didn't know what it was going to be like, because I think if I had known, I never would have gone through with it. And I feel the exact same about violation.
If you really knew.
If I really knew all of the things that were going to happen, I would have been terrified. But I think because you're just fielding them on the day, and you're working it out, and you're just in it and so committed in that moment, that it's not so scary. But if I'd known some of the things, like if I'd known what the vomiting scene was going to actually feel like, I think I would have been so scared to do it.
Yeah, I think also for me, the magic of filmmaking is the unplanned, the unpredictable things that happen that you couldn't write, you couldn't imagine, but that are just so breathtaking and beautiful and striking and on point with what you're trying to do. But it requires, I think, a level of like awareness and engagement with your environment and the space and the people you're working with to create a space where those things occur. Because sometimes as a filmmaker, you can get so fixated on a very particular vision and approach to how you're going to make it, and it really closes the door to those possibilities. But we were really fortunate and lucky. Some of our favorite moments in the film, the opening of the movie, are all accidents. They're all like these moments that were not scripted, that we found. And
that's something magical. I think that we've learned through our collaboration as well, is to stay open, which I know I wasn't doing before as a filmmaker. I was definitely kind of a bit tunnel vision with everything that I wanted to be meticulously right. And I think we've definitely, working together has allowed both of us to be more open and to just seize opportunities.
Yeah, and I think really the big lesson for making shorts to features is that the crew you work with are the most important thing. You know, it's more important than the quality, like the personality of the crew member is more important than the skill and the experience of the crew member, because you really want to create an environment of trust, respect, and true collaboration, where you're as a director, you're inspiring the best out of everyone. You're hoping that everyone's going to really try to do the best they possibly can, think outside the box, and really challenge themselves in a way that hopefully elevates the overall work in a way that you couldn't do individually as one person or as a team.
Yeah, we definitely approach picking our crew the same way that we approach casting.
I've heard you say that this film now closes the chapter on your work on trauma and its effects. Without asking you to divulge anything unless you want to, can you tell us anything about where your work is headed next?
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because we were just joking the other day.
I know, we shouldn't have said it.
We shouldn't have said it, because we're in the middle of writing something, like, oh my God, we can't seem to escape this. We're writing a dark comedy and a mystery thriller. And it's the mystery thriller that does, there is moments of trauma in it, but it's not a film that's exclusively dealing with trauma.
It's kind of more about secrets
and families.
Family secrets.
Yeah.
And the dark comedy is power dynamics.
Yeah, that's like very vague, but I think for us, we're really, we see ourselves as a writing, directing, producing team, and we're working exclusively together on a number of projects, and we're really excited about developing a wide range or tell a wide range of stories that really showcase all the different things that we love and that we care about.
Well, that is actually all the questions I have for you today.
Great questions.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Lindsay. That was great.
Yes, well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. As soon as I saw Violation, I was hoping I'd get a chance to interview you, and here we are. So I look forward to seeing what you guys do next.
Thanks so much. This has been great.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.